Teachers Today!
Welcome back to Teachers Today. I'm your host Christina D'Ambrosio, and today we'll be discussing the topics of developing a teaching philosophy. Let's cross over to Alex in the studio, who'll be delivering your weather report.
Thank you, Christina. Today in Brisbane is a lovely 29-degree day where the kids are undertaking mindfulness to escape from the scorching sun. In Sydney, it is 24 degrees where we are going to meet with the ATSL coordinators. Over in Melbourne, it is a whopping 30-degree heat, but keep that jacket close because we all know Melbourne weather. And finally in Perth, it is raining assessments with a miserable 25-degree day. That is the daily weather. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Alex. Now let's cross over live to Jana, who is at a local school interviewing a newly graduated teacher, Teresa.
Thank you, Christina. We now have Teresa, a newly graduated teacher. I'd like to start by asking you a few questions.
No worries.
So what is the overall vibe of your classroom?
So the overall vibe of my classroom would be to have, to make it fun, engaging, creative, a positive environment for students to learn in, and yeah, that's probably all.
Well, that sounds great. So do you have any goals for both yourself and your students?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I like my students to be in that positive and safe environment, so I like to foster that quite hard in between those four walls of my classroom. I also want to develop positive relationships with the peers, the parents and the students most importantly. I like to also give a lot of feedback to the students, so that's one of my main goals, to provide ongoing constant feedback to the kids so they can better themselves and yeah, strive for their best, I guess.
Excellent. So tell me, are you influenced by anyone in particular in your profession?
Well, yes, I live by a quote, or I try and structure my lessons around this quote by John Dewey, who says education is life itself. So really what that means to me is that I teach the kids life lessons, which they can then take into their own professions or into their own homes and try and influence their parents and others around them to continue learning every single day. So yeah, that's about it.
Wow, I think that's an amazing quote to live by. That's all we have time for today, but it looks like you're making an excellent impact on the students.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Christina.
Wow, what an interesting and inspiring teacher she is. We'd now like to cross over to Jasmine, who is live in Sydney, to talk to us about the ATSL Standard, which is a guide used in classrooms. It's a pleasure to have you here, Jasmine.
Not a problem, Christina. I want to take you on a journey through ATSL Standard number 1, knowing students and how they learn. This is a massive one in teaching, and I guess that's why they've put it first. We as teachers need to understand our students quite well in terms of their physical, social and intellectual development, as well as their characteristics and how they may or may not affect their learning. We also need to understand how they learn, whether that be visually, kinesthetically, auditory, or through reading and writing. This will then structure the lessons and activities which the teachers and students will engage in. Teachers teach students of diverse backgrounds, and we need to be aware of these and adjust teaching methods and activities to further engage these students and their diverse backgrounds into our teaching. Differentiation is key in classrooms, as we need to develop strategies to meet specific learning needs of the students across the range of abilities which we have present in our classrooms. An example of this would be using literacy rotations, where we have different activities set up of different degrees in challenges for students. You've already differentiated students into their groups, and now they will partake in the activities which are more suited towards their level of learning. This is great because students have the freedom to choose activities which may challenge them to move up a little bit in their levels, or to then bring them down a bit to make them foster more of a foundation before moving them up to more challenging activities. This is why differentiation is key in classrooms, as it helps students develop and grow into more worldwide students. Fostering a supportive environment for students with disabilities, and making sure they participate within group discussions and outside in classrooms. We can also get the students to help us with creating this safe environment for the students with disabilities, as they can offer their support and play with them outside. So that's all I have on ATSL Standard number 1. I hope that helps all those budding teachers out there to understand more about the ATSL standards and what is expected and included in them when teaching in schools today. Thanks a lot, Christina. Back over to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. We'll cross over to you live later in the show. We are now taking an ad break. Let's cross over to some children undertaking mindfulness in Brisbane.
Here we have students in their natural classroom habitat. Here they are engaging in mindfulness. This particular program is called Go Noodle. It helps to channel students' physical and emotional energy for the good, providing them with a break from classes. This particular program has recorded higher test results for students as they focus more on their mental and physical health and well-being, therefore bettering their schooling experience throughout the year. Here are 6 steps for effective teaching and learning. Step 1. Establish challenging learning goals. This can be done through having a WALT or a WILF, or getting the students to establish their own learning goals for that particular lesson. Step 2. Plan, structure and sequence learning programs. This is all up to the teacher to make sure everything goes to plan. There is a lesson plan of all the activities set out and ready to go. They also need to follow some sort of structure, so have an introduction and a reflection and a little bit of talking time for the teacher, and just making sure the lessons all flow together. Step number 3. Develop effective teaching strategies. This may be developing different activities which meet students' needs, so having more hands-on approach for students who learn through hands-on learning, or using a more oral component of a lesson, so getting students to get up and start talking and moving, which meets the needs of the students who learn orally. Step 4. Select and use appropriate resources. An example of this is in maths when doing place value, so having MAB blocks and place value charts ready available for the students to learn and help them better their learning by using these objects to learn basically. Step 5. Develop classroom communication strategies. So this may be done through having a clap to get students' attention, or using a bell also to get students' attention and focused on you for your important message. Step number 6. Evaluate and improve teaching strategies. This is done when the teachers and students reflect on the teaching that has been taken place. This really helps with both the teachers and the students' learning. These are 6 effective teaching strategies and learning.
Let's move right along to Anna, who is at an assessment conference in Perth. How's it going, Anna?
Thank you, Christina. Well, as you can see, it's very packed here, and I've learned a lot too. So, as we all know, assessment is an essential part of learning within our classroom. So, and it's a very essential part of being a teacher, as it develops our understanding on how students learn, what they need to know, and to inform our own planning and delivery of the content. There are many forms of assessment which evaluate our students' learning. These are diagnostic, formative and summative. Formative is done at the start of the topic and then is done throughout the topic as well. Summative is now done at the end of the topic to assess what students have learned. These 3 types fit into the 3 categories as you can see here. So there is assessment of learning, assessment for learning and assessment as learning. So they help us track the students' progress and provide us with different forms of assessment to thoroughly assess the students on their ability within the topic. Through to standard number 5, which is to assess, provide feedback and report on students' learning, which is a major part of teaching today. So back to you in the studio, Christina.
Thank you, Anna. It seems like you're busy. Thank you for reporting live to the studio. That's all we have time for today. Thank you for watching Teachers Today. Next week, tune in for information on classroom management.